we have some locals gameplay that I promised you guys last week already with my YCS deck list, which is yummy. I went to locals with it last week. I played card for card the deck list I played at the YCS Lille. And we are going to take a look at my locals experience with it and talk over some of the plays and so on and so forth. So some TCG action. Why is there a Habakiri on your field? Don't ask these kind of questions. None of your concern. Let's do some TCG. And like I said, we are doing some Genesis deck building and theory tomorrow, and gonna be doing some Genesis remote duels on Sunday is the plan at the moment. Wait, I used to go up here, right? Yeah.
Komm, mach mal alles nochmal neu. Kannst du nochmal würfeln.
The unfortunate, there's an unfortunate thing that happened before this, is I sat down for round 1 at locals. I started recording, and I won the dice roll. And then there was a repairing in Neuron. And it just so happened that I had the same opponent as before, but on a different table. So we packed up everything, moved to a different table, and then I said, like, you know, just for the camera, let's re-roll the dice and everything. And then they rolled a freaking 12. And so I had to go second. But initially, I won the dice roll. I just wanted to be known. I was just like, yeah, let's just do a new one, whatever. But then I... yeah. But I opened Fuva Purge. So once again, this is the list that I played at YCS Lille. The deck profile for that, I recorded it on stream, so if you were around, you already know it. If not, it's going to be uploaded on the main channel today or tomorrow. I'm trying to have this one and the deck list go up at the same time, usually. So you can see the deck that I'm profiling in action. That's usually how I like to combine these. So, yeah.
Ritual summon von...
Did anyone comment on the hat cam? No one really comments on it because I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now, and there's also someone else doing it at my locals. So it's not like an unusual thing anymore, which is good. It's good that I'm not the only one doing it. Otherwise, I might feel a little weird about it.
Hand ist okay, ja.
Alright, so here, unfortunate part of this opener is I decide to not chain Fuva to the ritual spell to summon from hand, because I'm hoping they're not summoning Murakumo, but they are summoning Murakumo. And also, a problem in this deck in particular is I have a lot of hand traps to stop Mitsurugi from playing, but if they start with a, hard-drawn ritual and are able to immediately activate it from hand, then I can't really stop that. I'm not too worried about chaining Fuva to the Habakiri here, because I have extra discards, so I'm just discarding the cookie. And I am happy that the Fuva resolves. So here, I guess an interesting part that we can talk about is the usage of the hand traps once the Mitsurugi player has already started playing. Because I felt like ashing this Saji didn't feel super impactful. I was holding the ash for Gallant Granite. And before I picked up the second purge, had I known I was going to draw a second purge, I would have probably ashed the Saji. But my plan with Ash plus Purge was basically to I was gonna Ash the Gallant Granite and then hold the Purge from my turn when they try to like bring back the Murakumo with its own effect or something. But had I known I was gonna have 2 Purges, then I would have ashed the Saji maybe. And now, unfortunately, even though I have 2 purges, you would think like, oh, use the purge first, but I have to ash first because of purge restriction. Try the cam on the chest instead of the head. It looks less stupid. I agree, but I also I've tested that and it looks a lot you just can't see the opponent's cards very well because the angle is worse. Like this unfortunately is just the perfect angle for this, you know, like you can see my cards, you can see the opponent's cards, you have a good overview of the board. There's not really a way I can make that, you know, better. So here they're going to commit even harder into the Fuwa, which is good for me because I'm gonna get extra cards. I'm gonna purge the Futsu in the graveyard, obviously, because I don't want to deal with that. So that's gonna stay in the graveyard, and I still have 4 cards in hand. Unfortunately, I am not going to get any value from this second Fubalos because it was drawn a little bit too late. But I can just use it as a discard for Murakumo. And here I will say this turn. This turn is, I think, a very interesting one. So just to recap, we know just a set prayers, I'm pretty sure. We know one of the 2 sets is a prayers. There's a Murakumo on the board that we're going to have to discard to. There's 1 set and 1 card in hand. So having, it was at the small price of having Fuwa, Ash, and Impulse, this game is actually looking quite playable with 5 cards in hand, especially now that I've drawn the Triple Tactics Thrust for turn. I want to talk about this turn a little bit because I think it turns out quite interesting. So the thing is basically that a lot of the things depend on how they use their interruptions. But I'm planning at the moment in my head. It's like I'm trying to play with these 2 cards, the Cupsy and the Cookie. I'm trying to hold the Fuvalos in my hand to discard it for the Murakumo because I'm gonna have to discard a card for it. I can try to prevent the Murakumo from wiping my board if they don't play around it, but the problem is with prayers, they can usually chain block the Murakumo from my Dominus Purge, right? Like they can go, if they go prayers tribute Murakumo, bring back something else like a Saji, they can go chain link 1 Murakumo, chain link 2 Saji, which will prevent me from using Purge to stop the Murakumo, which is going to be rough. But I do have Thrust for Obedience Schooled if that happens.
Normal summon Cupsy effect.
In these instances, I like announcing Cupsy effect. I've said in the deck profile that going first, I often like to chain block the Cupsy later on in the combo. I don't like to immediately activate it often. But in this instance, when I'm playing into a board, if there is an imperm, I'm trying to find that out immediately to see if I have to play around it or not, what the other set card is. And I'm grabbing Surprise here to have access to it. And I wanna commit as little as possible, so I'm gonna use the Snatchy effect instantly and place a card with its effect here. Here, this is the first crucial decision of the game. Okay, so here I am making the decision between Minion and between the Akroki. And this is already, I guess you can let me know right now which one you would go for if you've been playing Yummy. What's going on in my head here is the following thing, right? If I go for Minion here, the advantage of going for Minion is that I can play the game immediately without committing another card from my hand, right? Because placing Minion lets me revive the Cupsy or the Cookie and lets me play with just the cards I have right now. And it's also potentially going to make it easier to go for damage later on in the turn. However, Akroki is going to make me, like, basically the way I look at Akroki and Minion, they both give you an extra body in certain situations. Minion gives you the body immediately. Akroki gives you the body later on in the turn if your opponent interacts with your board. Which in this matchup, in this particular position, is very likely that they're going to trigger the Akroki for me to summon one from the deck. And summoning one from the deck would be pretty nice here. And also getting the pop is going to give me the ability to force out some of their interruptions earlier than they would maybe like to use them, right? Because I have a way to pop. Let's say I can attempt to pop the Murakumo, or I can attempt to pop one of the back rows, and maybe if I hit the prayers, that's going to force their interruption before they want to use it. So I ultimately decide to go for a Croaky here, but I do think about it for a second. And I do think this is an interesting point that is going to come back to bite me later. And I'm not sure. I guess we can talk about the arguments for and against it, but like realistically, I think placing a Croaky here is fine from my perspective. But I do think it's going to make it a lot harder later in the turn, because what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to be able to get enough damage onto the board under this. So here, this is something where my opponent, I think, forgets about the Akroki effect in the spell trap zone, in the field spell zone, because they go Magatama. They see that I haven't placed the Reborn spell, or maybe they think this is the Reborn one, but they pop my Snatchy. They pop my Snatchy, which is not a very good use of Magatama here for multiple reasons. First of all, it shows me that the other set is Magatama, which is going to make it easier for me to navigate this turn. Also, it's going to trigger my Akroki to replace the Snatchy, right? So like I'm going to get the body from it immediately here. In hindsight, if we, like, once again, I think this makes my decision on which field spell to place basically irrelevant here, because if they had played it perfectly, and they would just pop my field spell here, no matter which one I add. But in this instance, of course, the Akroki turns out a lot better. So they search a follow-up prayers from the Habakiri. I don't bother using Purge on it. And I'm summoning Lollipo off of the Akroki, and I'm using the Lollipo to interrupt their graveyard a little bit. I'm getting rid of the Futsu because I don't want them to be able to revive it later on. If they want to revive it, they would have to do it now, which would mean they would use their prayers tributing the Murakumo immediately, which would force them to basically Regeki nothing. Yeah.
Dann würde ich Cookie specialen.
You can place minion later with Marshmallow for damage. So Marshmallow to place minion is possible, but you have to go through Starham for it. Which maybe I could have.
Ja, erstmal nichts, also.
So, I summon out the Cookie. At this point, I have 3 cards in hand. My opponent only knows the Yummy Surprise. Which from their perspective, if they go Murakumo here to wipe these 2 out, 1 Yummy Surprise is not going to be enough for me play the game. So they decide to go Prayers Tribute Murakumo to try and wipe my board. I have a Dominus Purge in hand here, which means I can stop the Prayers. I am most likely not going to be able to stop the Murakumo from activating its effect because of what I said earlier, right? Like they can, if I let this Prayers resolve, they're just going to search, they're going to special, and they're going to go Chainlink 1 Murakumo, Chainlink 2 the other Mitsurugi name, and then I cannot purge the Murakumo. So I think I do decide to purge this Prayers because this Prayers is like crazy follow-up and multiple cards on the board and on all that. Okay, I don't chain Purge. I chain Snatchy though. I should have chained Purge and Snatchy, I think. I do chain Snatchy, but I think I should have purged the Prayers.
Genau. Erstmal nimmst du 800, dann habe ich Chainlink 1 Capsi zum Suchen und das wär's erstmal.
Yeah, I should have purged the Prayers. Because purging the Saji now that they have chain blocked it is still gonna be okay. It's still gonna destroy it. But now they basically just have a free Futsu in hand that I gave them, right? They wouldn't have this, they wouldn't have the Futsu in hand. They would just have one less card. But I'm still feeling pretty good about my position here. But basically, my decision to place a Croaky is gonna make it a lot harder now to actually win the game.
Genau, oder ich habe keine.
Because if I had placed Minion here and we would be in a similar board state, it would be a lot easier for me to try and go for game because I could just thrust for Obedience Schooled and then summon a bunch of monsters that would be incredibly huge because of Minion.
Keine Trigger, nein.
But now that we've talked about it, I feel like there may have been a line where I keep the Purge in hand as a discard for Starham, and I go ahead and I make Starham with Marshmallow. I bring Marshmallow back with Starham, and then Starham places Minion from deck. But then my opponent has 4 monsters. My opponent has 4 monsters. Can I do enough damage? I don't think I can. I don't think I can.
Ja.
So here, basically, what's going through my head is, because I have this field spell, I'm not going to be able to go for game. My opponent is on like 3 cards for follow-up, which realistically, if I purged the right thing, should have been 2 cards for follow-up, which is also going to make a difference. I'm now realizing that. But basically, because I went for a Croaky and not for Minion, it's a lot harder to out this board now because their stuff is huge and my stuff is tiny. And so I decide to not thrust for Obedience Schooled. Because at this point, now that I've used the Purge, I don't think I can afford to discard the thing. I can surprise bounce maybe, but then I still don't have enough for a game, right? Like I can surprise bounce, but then they just have like a bunch of cards in hand, and then I don't know. Okay. Someone is asking, how can you get Minion from Starham? Okay, so I will explain what I mean by that. So Marshmallow Yummy. Marshmallow Yummy says the following thing. Marshmallow Yummy says, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Yummy spell trap from your grave to your hand, or if this card was special summoned by the effect of a synchro monster, you can place a Yummy field spell or a Yummy continuous spell trap from deck or banishment face up on your field instead. So what you can do is, normally you can only do this when you tag out with the Yummy synchro monsters, but there is a workaround which I did play in my deck, which is the Starham. Starham is a level 3 synchro that says when it's summoned, you can discard a card to summon back one of the materials that were used for its synchro summon. So if I make Starham with Marshmallow, I can discard a card from my hand, I can summon back Marshmallow from the graveyard, and then it was summoned by the effect of a synchro monster, I can place a Yummy field spell from my deck. So I can get to Minion here. It is just a very, it's a route that requires me to use a discard, which at the moment, I don't have a card I want to discard, right? I have Surprise, Marshmallow, and Thrust. None of those I want to discard. You could argue that maybe I should have just not used the Purge because it didn't actually impact it very much. And I should have just used the Purge as a discard for Starham, maybe. Which in hindsight would have been fine. I personally think the correct thing that was to just purge the prayers because of what I talked about. I literally said, which is funny, rewatching myself making a mistake. I say like, yeah, I should prayers here because they can chain block the Murakumo anyways. So like the prayers is the best thing I'm gonna get this turn. But then I don't do it, maybe hoping for them to mess up the chain links or something. But of course they don't. And then they have one card in hand extra than what they should have.
Hätte ich eine Yummy Surprise zum Reborn.
Diesen Sinn dieser Karte immer noch nicht verstanden, wenn ich ehrlich bin.
Gut, da war keiner hat Geld stark gespielt. Das ist eigentlich scheiße.
You could have done this play, then bounced the bodies, and it would have set up a lethal line with obedience. Earlier, yes. Now, I don't think it's enough bodies anymore. Plus the bounce too, maybe. If I go, okay, let's actually go through this because I think this is interesting. This is exactly what I was referring to when I said I don't think I'm playing this deck well enough, or I'm making small mistakes or small things. I have Thrust, Marshmallow, and Surprise. If I thrust for Obedience Schooled, I get 3 bodies. I make the 3rd Snatchy. I go activate Surprise, Chainlink 1, target 2 of their monsters, Chainlink 2 Snatchy, to make Lollipo. I have 2 bodies. I bring back 2 more from the Lollipo. That's 4 bodies. Surprise is out of my hand. Thrust is out of my hand. I still have Marshmallow in hand, but I'm gonna have to discard that for the Starham. They have 1 body. I make the Starham with Marshmallow that I summon off of Obedience School, so I do have it. So that brings me to I combine Lollipo and 1 more and the Marshmallow for Starham, so that puts me to 3 bodies. I discard the card from my hand to bring back Marshmallow. That's 4 bodies. I place Minion. Minion revives 1 body. That's if I include if Lollipo revives a Snatchy, then I can activate Minion to revive, which is 5 bodies. But one of those is a Starham, right? One of those is a Starham, which does not get the attack boost from Minion, but still it's 5 light beasts. Is that game over a gallon? That is game over a gallon, Granite. Yeah, that's game. I have game here. Yeah, okay. Hold up. You want me to show it? I can show you. Hold up. I have the cards here. Let me see. You can link the hamster into a Snatchy? Ooh, yeah. No, I don't have a 3rd Snatchy. After I do that, I think. Hold up. Where's my deck? So the hand is Surprise, Marshmallow, Thrust. Minion is in the deck. There's a Cookie in the grave. There's, I think, a Lollipo in the grave, and I think there's a Cupsy in there. There's enough stuff in the grave. And like one or two Snatchies is, I think 2 Snatchies are gone already. So this is the hand. There's Minion is in the deck. A Croaky is face up. I haven't even used a Croaky to pop yet, so I think there would be no body on the board actually. So they have at the moment they have 3 bodies, right? They have the 3 bodies, the 2 ritual monsters, and 1 of the things. So what I do is I thrust for Obedience Schooled. That was here. I activate Obedience Schooled. I summon 3 bodies. Like this. At this point, I have to make the 3rd Snatchy to be able to go into Lollipo. I go activate Surprise, target these 2 and these 2. I chain Snatchy to Synchro. I Synchro into Lollipo. Also, Cupsy Yummy Ways in the graveyard already. I Synchro into Lollipo. These 2 go back into the hand. At this point, I don't think I've used this to pop. So I go effect to revive, effect to pop the last body. So there's actually no bodies. This is easily game. Actively throwing. Bring these two back with Lollipo. These two are negated. Now I make Starham with this, which is important because Starham can only bring back monsters that were used for its synchro summon. Starham effect, discard Marshmallow, bring back the Marshmallow I used. This now triggers, places minion. I activate this to bring back a body from the grave because I control a Link 1. And now, yummy monsters you control gain 500 attack for each light beast monster on the field. Every one of these gains 2,500 because I have 5. Yeah, this is 33, 66, 76, 10,700, 14,200 damage. It's 14,200 damage. Almost game, yeah. This is why I enjoy Yummy so much. Because the games going second with it are actually quite fun. But I'm still not happy with how I'm playing it, obviously, because I don't see that. That's not what's happening. Right here.
Dann würde ich Marshmallow aktivieren. Effekt Marshmallow.
Josh likes combo decks. I don't think Pure Yummy is that, really.
Heres.
Is the new Yummy monster needed? Yes, unfortunately. Which POV is Josh? The one that's misplaying right now. So what I go for, because I don't see game here basically, is I go for a middle ground play where I try to clear the board. And you can see here I haven't used the Okroki yet because I'm popping the Murakumo now. Basically my goal is just to clear the board, set up Herald, and try to win from that position. Which I also don't think is a bad spot to be in, honestly. It would be a better spot if I purged the prayers instead of the Saji. I would have been in an even better position. But basically, I'm gonna realize here in a second that outing this Habakiri is really annoying. So I think I'm just gonna Talons take it.
Dann hätte ich einen Thrust.
Were we under time stress? Not really, no. I just didn't see the line, I think. The Starham recycling Marshmallow is a pretty unusual line that hasn't come up for me yet. In the sense of getting the second field spell to OTK. I've used it to recycle a banished field spell before, the Starham stuff, but yeah. In this instant, I in my mind, it was just like, okay, I went for a Croaky earlier, so I'm gonna have to find a way to deal with this without minions, so OTK wasn't really on my mind.
Dann greift der Haber an.
The problem here is that I've used Purge from the hand, so if I make SP, the only real Link 2 I can make with this Habakiri is SP or IP. They're both unusable. But I do want the Habakiri off the board, and my Synchro is negated anyways because it's revived off Metal Marcher. So I'm making SP. They want me to banish something, but it's purged, so... And here... So basically, I don't think this position is all too bad, because I have Herald, I have a Croaky, the SP is dead, it cannot interrupt, but I have Surprise face down to revive a Synchro monster, so if they start playing into my board, I have some stuff to prevent that. My situation could have been a little bit better had I purged the prayers. They would have one less card in hand then. But okay. And overall, it's not the worst spot to be in.
Ja, klar. Das ist Surprise, ja.
Nee.
Ja. Irgendwas in der Drawface?
Nein.
Die Surprise zum Rebound.
So I use Surprise here to bring back the Cup C Synchro immediately. It's 2200 defense, so I'm not too worried about them being able to run over it. And I just want to be able to start tagging out as soon as possible when they start playing. Which conveniently... conveniently...
Was sagt sie nochmal genau, wenn Yami-Monster das Spiel verteilt?
Wenn irgendein Monster von mir das Feld durch den Karten
is gonna come in very handy from my opponent now.
Yami aus dem Deck beschwören.
The Cup C.
Okay, dann
Because we've drawn a pretty good card. Oh, look at that. Super polymerization. Okay, at this point, the game is over. At this point, the game is over.
Der wird gebanished.
The Futsu is banished because of Herald of Arclight, but still, like, it's
Until end of turn, target creature with defender gain face and kein Defender.
Dann hätte ich Effekt.
I trigger the Okroki here, so I technically have follow-up, but I think they just kill me this turn. Yeah. We go next. Which is another thing. It's like, okay, I could spend time complaining about them top decking Super Poly here, but realistically, I had game last turn had I just played better. So, kind of no point in complaining about that. My side deck plan for going first is side decking Sangan and Droll and Lockbird in this matchup, because Sangan, I've explained it in my deck profile, but Sangan is a one-card combo for Yami, so it increases consistency. But if I draw Sangan and I already have a play, I can search a hand trap with it, which is why I'm a big fan of the Sangan in this deck.
Explain Guardian, Defender, Intelligent für Mana mit Höhe der Defenders, die ich habe. Er sagte, 2 gute Karte fast.
Was there a specific point of reviving right now? You would have nearly 100% used Herald first thing, so it couldn't tag out either way first? Maybe. Like, the thing is, like, I didn't really consider Super Poly because Super Poly would have specifically had to be their top deck, right? It's like one of those instances where if they had opened Super Poly, they would have definitely said it. So I didn't think they had it. And so in my mind, it was just like, what if they start with something to bait the Herald that I don't want to negate, right? Because, like, what if they start normal summon Aramasa, activate effect? That is something that they could have reasonably had another normal summon in their hand, maybe, from how the first turn went. And, like, if they start normal summon Aramasa, activate effect, I don't want to Arclight that. I don't want to negate and destroy that. But if I let it go through, then they can go battle phase attack my Herald. And at that point, Yami's Surprise cannot prevent that anymore because it's too late, right? So if they go normal summon, activate effect, I want to be able to tag out with my Synchro, summon Cookie, pop the normal summon or something like that, right? It's like, it's only worse against Super Poly, and Super Poly was not in their hand the turn before, and I didn't even know it was in their deck, right? So, yeah.
Dann fang ich an. Ja, gutes.
All right, game 2 hand is cracked.
Stand by main. Normal Yummy, Cookie.
ja, dann würde ich hier führen.
Normal Cookie, I get Fubat, so I'm gonna have to make a half board under Fuba. Luckily, the best time to get Fubat is when you have Cupsy in your hand. Because when you have Cupsy in your hand, your half board is actually very strong. If you get Fubat and you don't have Cupsy in your hand, I recommend going for a Synchro. But if you have Cupsy in your hand and you can resolve it, I think this is completely fine. I think Surprise with Snatchy and 2 Yummy names is completely reasonable. And I'm going to be thrusting. I have no Floodgate for thrust in my deck. This is obviously where maybe I should be playing 1 copy of D-Barrier, but I didn't. I didn't have room in my side deck for it. I was prioritizing other cards. So I'm just setting a purge here, which I think is fine for this matchup. You know, I don't mind this situation. Of course, I have a solid half board. I have surprise. I have bell. I have droll. I have purge. So I don't really feel the need for a D-barrier here, but D-barrier would obviously auto-win this matchup on the spot.
Yep.
So here, I guess, is an interesting point where do you let the Saji resolve to activate Droll and Lockbird as early as possible? The problem with that entire thing is that if I let the Saji... Maybe I should have grabbed Imperm if we're thinking about it that way, because if I let the Saji resolve now, I cannot purge anything. Because after Droll and Lockbird is active, the purge is likely a dead card. So I do decide to purge here because it's going to stop them potentially from having the ritual spell in their hand, which is going to be the most annoying thing to deal with if they have the ritual spell. Because even if I let the Saji resolve, even if they get drolled after, they can still go ritual spell summon Murakumo from deck, and that can potentially cause me some trouble. So if I can, I would like to prevent them from having the ritual spell at all.
Dann hätte ich Snatchy-Effekt.
And then here, I decide to also, if I droll immediately there, I cannot go through my Cupsy synchro, which means I will have worse follow-up potentially. If they somehow break my board, I might not have follow-up. How did you purge? Did they control a card? It was set, so I don't need that requirement. So here, this works out quite well for me. I bell the prayers. My Snatchy resolves. I put Cookie in the grave to have the pop live. And this is a nice sequence where they're gonna now... I know they're gonna activate Habakiri Engrave to search one card. I chain Cupsy to search as well, and once this chain is resolved, I can actually droll when my search has already gone through. So I got what I wanted. I got my follow-up. I got Lollipo in the graveyard as well, which is important interruption against Mitsurugi sometimes. And now I can droll without losing much of my things I want to do this turn. So they search Mitsurugi Ritual, indicating that they will still have a play this turn, but I'm not too worried about that because the droll is going to stop the worst things, I feel like. They still do have 5 cards in hand, so it's not like I'm super ahead here, but it's fine.
Chain.
And they have hard draw Murakumo, which is worst case for me here, but it's still not that bad because I have Cookie to immediately pop it. Aramasa Night Sword Serpent. I think the Aramasa was from hand, so they likely drew both or only play one. I don't know, or sided out one going second. Kusanagi is going to target prayers.
Chaining 3 Cookie target. Yep.
Ooh, okay. Why didn't you summon back Lolly and Cookie? Because I wanted to do something that I now forgot to do. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to summon Cookie and Snatchy, and then go Cookie, pop Murakumo, Snatchy, replace the field spell to get a Croaky, and then when the Murakumo resolves the board wipe, I can replace one of my monsters with a Croaky, because the way the chain links work is the Snatchy is going to play steal Croaky before the Murakumo destroys my board, because the Murakumo is an earlier chain link. So my plan was to go Cookie and Snatchy, but I think now I just realized I did not announce the Snatchy. So I'm just gonna pop the Murakumo here and actually gonna lose my board. The hard draw Magatama here is pretty cracked, honestly. They should pop my set.
Ja.
But they target my field spell, which once again, using the Snatchy there would have also played around that, I suppose. But now that I still have Surprise,
Kann ich jetzt nur Prayers auf der Hand? Ja. Okay.
but they can't. Oh yeah, right. I forgot. They can only pop the face-ups.
Dann hätte ich in der Endphase einen Surprise zum Reborn. Für einen Lollipo, target den Murakumo.
All right, end phase. I go Surprise, shuffle back the Murakumo from their grave with Lollipo, and that means they have no disruption on my turn, so they pack it up. So, solid game 2, I think. I like how I sequenced my disruption on the opponent's turn. Only small thing is I forgot to use the Snatchy to replace the field spell, which would have made my position even stronger. What do I side for going second? I side 3 Fuba, Dark Hole, and Thrust. And I take out some engine. The Sangan and some other stuff goes back out.
Wer beginnt?
Ich würde anfangen.
Jo, aber ein gutes.
Alright, we have Ash Bell versus Mitsu, which is honestly pretty good. There is only a few Mitsu hands that will play through this. Yeah. Do you take out a Croaky for going second? No. No.
Ja.
There you would get Cupsy with the field spell. Not under Droll and Lockbird, no, I wouldn't get Cupsy. I would probably just get like the Lollipo a little bit earlier or something. But it only matters because it's a body on the board. All right, Ash on Saji, pass turn.
Stand by main.
This is one thing that I want to mention about using Piri Rise Map. This game, the Piri Rise Map is incredibly awkward because Piri Rise Map has a hidden text that a lot of people maybe are not aware of. In order to prevent you from searching hand traps with Piri Rise Map, maybe, I guess, is the purpose of it. I don't know. But it says, at the start of your main phase 1, add a monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, but half your life points. After adding it to your hand, until the end of the next turn, after this card resolves, you cannot activate the added monster's effects or the effect of cards with the same name until you normal summon that monster or a card with its name. So, if you draw a bunch of hand traps and Piri Rise Map, what you cannot do is normal summon the hand trap and make Almirage. So, which is normally what you would do if you have like a Fuvalos and it's dead. Right now, you can like, you know, you can normal summon the Fuba, make Almirage, and then special summon your Yummies, which is probably what I would do if I had the Cupsy in hand without Piri Rise Map. But in this case, I'm gonna have to normal summon Cupsy. Why don't you play engages instead? Because I think drawing Cupsy or having access to Cupsy is better than having engage. You can, but without effect? Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, you can, but I don't want to play without Cupsy effect for 2 turns. That's a massive problem.
Dann normal Cupsy Effekt, Cupsy.
Yeah, one of Judgment is going to end my turn instantly here. The thing is, at this point, I'm going to have to pass my turn to the one of Solemn Judgment, which is going to be very annoying. But they didn't have a play last turn. And the once per duel of Habakiri has been used. So the amount of top decks that they have here is limited. Because I have Bell in hand as well. Because I have Bell in hand too, I feel okay here because I cover for top deck pre-preparations. I top deck for I cover for top deck prayers as well, because if they go prayers tribute Habakiri and I bell the prayers, they get the Habakiri search, but at that point they cannot actually search a 1-card combo. So they would have to have another card in hand to even play. So prayers top deck is not the worst potentially. So I'm feeling okay here. Saji is gone, so they cannot top deck Saji. Aramasa is unlikely to change anything. I can negate prayers. I can negate pre-prep. So it's not the worst. And I can play next turn.
Dann ist deiner.
Extravagance is the best top deck, most likely. Yeah, Extravagance is the one that I cannot prevent. And I also cannot prevent Ritual. Ritual is the one that I can't prevent. I can prevent pre-prep, but I cannot prevent Ritual hard draw. They search the Ritual if you bell prayers, and they might not have a Ritual monster in hand, right? That's the thing. I only know Habakiri. But if they tribute Habakiri for prayers, they might not have a Ritual monster in hand. It's like, I lose to prayers if they have other cards in hand, yeah. That are combo pieces, basically.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, at this point, they revealed that they have Murakumo in hand, which shows that I would have also lost to Prayers top deck because they can search Ritual, because they have another Ritual monster. But at this point, it's just, they've top decked, basically, they need to draw Prayers or Ritual there, or I probably win, because I can negate pre-prep, I can negate Mirror as well. I get Ashed on Fuva here as well, but that doesn't matter. I have 4,000 life points. I'm gonna die anyways. So yeah, I go down in round 1 to a single Solemn Judgment, which I do have a lot of answers for still. Like, even though I don't play Sky Striker cards, I still have 3 Marshmallows in the deck. I have 2 Surprise in the deck. All of those cards can theoretically play under a Solemn Judgment, but in this hand, unfortunately, didn't have any of those. And then they top deck the card that they need. Of course, this is an argument to play the Sky Striker cards, but I think one of Judgment, like, it doesn't happen that often. Usually your normal summon, usually is good to start playing, and you have a bunch of extenders that work if it's not. But that was round 1. Lost round 1 to Pure Mitsurugi. It was an interesting match. I liked it. Game 1, especially in hindsight, I really enjoyed, because there's a lot of things going on there and a lot of small decisions that end up in me losing game 1, when in reality I should have probably won it if I played better, which is interesting. It's an interesting takeaway from the first game especially. But yeah, once again, who would have thought that game 2 and game 3 are less interesting than game 1 in current advanced constructed Yu-Gi-Oh! What a shocker. All right, we go down in the first round of locals. We have to go into the 0-1 bracket. So here's round 2.
Ich habe eben Würfel gewonnen. Das ist eine 1.
And I go first. Luckily, I go first because I have basically no non-engine. I mean, I have a talents, but no hand traps, at least in my. Well, how many did I play? 15. It's not that crazy to draw none.
Snatch Effekt. Mini-Effekt.
Advanced is secretly best of 1. I want to say something about that, because I've heard that argument of like, oh, they should just make Yu-Gi-Oh! Best of 1, which I don't agree with. I really like the implications of best of 3. But the thing that I have a problem with is not best of 1, or best of 3. The thing that I have a problem with is the side deck. Unironically, I have a feeling that if you play best of 3 with no side deck, not only do you save like 4 or 5 minutes during the match from siding, which means that you're going to have less timer problems, but people are going to have to build their decks without like the ability to just take out all the bad cards going second for crazy like blowouts, and without being able to take out their Fuvas for going first and then have a bunch of auto win traps. Like, maybe the solution is genuinely just removing the side deck. I don't hate the idea, to be honest with you. Malice would be better than though. I mean, yes, you're going to have some strategies that are going to capitalize on that more than others, but then you're just going to have to balance around that. You know what I mean? Like, it's that is not necessarily an argument against it. Like, yes, some decks will benefit from no side deck. Some decks will have a disadvantage because of it. But generally, I think that is just something you can balance around. And I don't think it's that crazy. I don't think the side deck is offering that many positives for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I genuinely don't think it's that crazy. Could reduce the amount of side deck space? Maybe that too. I don't know. That doesn't really get rid of the problem, but it makes it, I guess, less. What if players would only be allowed to side for the same card type? Only monsters for monsters, etc.? I think that would, in theory, solve it, but there's just no way to enforce that, right? Like, it's just almost impossible to confirm or whatever, right? Like, you cannot do that, right? That seems like a logistical nightmare.
Special Kapsi-Effekt.
I don't want to get into a whole should the side deck exist thingy, but like I think the side deck is honestly maybe a problem. But here I think I chain blocked my Kapsi, like I showed you in the video. So did I? Oh no, I didn't. No, I didn't chain block the Kapsi. Okay, never mind. Oh, because I hard drew surprise. That's why I'm not chain blocking it. Yes, this is what I like to do when I draw surprise. I like to let my opponent or give my opponent the chance to ash my Kapsi, because they might basically waste an ash because I already have surprise. So I like doing that. But if I didn't have surprise in my hand here, I would have chain blocked the Kapsi. Because here, if they ash the Kapsi, I get to Talons, look at their hand, and then just like still have surprise. Isn't the side deck problem that there are a lot of instant win cards? That is, I guess that is the problem, yes. But apparently we are at a point where we cannot get rid of those cards. So, yeah. Honestly, I think removing the side deck is something that I feel like if there is someone somewhere who is preventing them to ban all those floodgates, maybe you can convince them to allow them to get rid of the side deck with the argument of it's going to make rounds faster because people use like 2 to 3 minutes to side deck twice per match. So if we remove side decking, you're going to remove like 5 minutes of time from every match, every round. Maybe that's a compelling argument. One-time siding is a good compromise, I think. One-time siding is also an interesting idea, yeah. With the idea obviously being like, you're gonna go second now, so you're gonna side deck for going second. But you have to keep in mind that if you win, if you win or lose, then you have to do the other thing, the third game, yeah. Alright, here I make the IP Masquerena board. Just in case they're playing Mitsurugi. This is basically, this is gonna make your end. This is why I'm not 100% convinced of IP Masquerena in this deck, but I added IP Masquerena to the list because in theory it makes your boards slightly better into Mitsurugi, because when they Murakumo, you can IP Masquerena into a SP Little Knight, and that's gonna survive and banish the Murakumo and then be a little annoying later down the line. So in theory, it makes the deck better into Mitsurugi, and in theory, it also makes your deck stronger in general, your end board. But it does sacrifice some flexibility, because at the moment, I cannot quick synchro yet. I do not have the ability to quick synchro at the moment because I don't have a level 1. So I would have to, I'm relying on my opponent to play into the Lollipo before I can quick synchro.
Der ist negiert, ne?
Der nicht, nee.
Nee, der ist nicht.
Das ist ja der die anderen wiedergeholt hat.
Würde ich mit ihm anfangen.
Okay.
I get Lava Golemed. which is Monka Christ.
Wenn du einen Effekt würde ich
Ja. Ja. Ja.
Special Fenrir as well.
Special Fenrir ist in Ordnung.
Removing Snatchy is wild. Yeah, I think removing Snatchy over the Synchro is not ideal, yeah.
Also, kann er mir jetzt eine andere.
deinen Effekt Fenrir zum Suchen.
Effekt Fenrir.
What is this? I mean, I know what it is because I've played it, so I'm not going to spoil it. But I feel like you can have a good guess of what this is already. I feel like most people would be able to guess which deck is playing Cash Tiras and main deck Lava Golems.
Ja, ist okay.
I'm surprised no one has said what it is, actually.
Genau.
Gotta be Regenesis? Yeah, it's Regenesis.
Nein.
It is Cash Tira Regenesis. I decided to not interact with the Fenrir here because it's just gonna banish my field spell face down, and I do not want that. So I'm gonna try to save my field spell. And I don't want to, honestly, I don't want to throw my interactions too early onto the Fenrir because that's going to leave them with an open board, and then they have the ability to special more Cash Tiras later and so on. So like I'm trying to like interact. Like ideally I'm going to wait for them to have a couple of monsters on the board and then like double book or something of that nature.
Und du aktivierst es.
Yeah, I have surprise to bounce it, but if I bounce it now, it's going to come back. So what I do here, the reason why I think it's okay to tag out here is because, so one thing I definitely don't want to happen against Regenesis Cash Tira, right, is I don't want them to banish my minion face down, because then I'm going to have to struggle the entire match against a deck with big monsters with my yummies that cannot beat over them, like, you know? So what I want to do here is if I tag out with my Synchro into Snatchy, if they go Fenrir Chainlink 1 as a new trigger on a new chain, Fenrir target my field spell, I can go Snatchy Chainlink 2 to replace the field spell. And then it's not going to get banished face down. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm bringing back Snatchy. I don't know if I bring back a level 1 or a Synchro, but a level 1.
Und Kapsi. Dann resolve dein Archfiend.
I let the Archfiend resolve to search, and then on a new chain, if they go Fenrir target my field spell, basically every face-up card they could banish on my field right now, I can protect. If they try to banish my IP, I'll chain the IP. If they try to banish my Snatchy, I'll quick Synchro. If they try to banish my field spell, I'll replace it with the Snatchy. So the Fenrir banish face down is basically completely irrelevant here.
Eine Field Spell auf die Hand zurücknehmen und dann eine Field Spell von meiner Hand aktivieren.
How many players is your locals? On Wednesdays, it usually gets around 17 or 18, which is pretty good, honestly. The store hasn't been around for a long time, like only a few months that they've been doing locals, but I'm pretty happy with it, honestly.
Monster zwischen 101 und 107 im Extra-Deck. Vorteil, dann kann ich trotzdem denselben Typ oder Eigenschaft
Kapsi?
derselben Stufe wie kann. Ich habe gedacht, ich hätte einen guten Ersatz.
Nur Kapsi.
Weil ich das Monster
Dann würde ich
So
eine ziehen.
they do not activate Fenrir to banish, so I only activate Copsy to draw. I could still replace my field spell, but I'm kind of happy to keep the attack boost around for a while. I'm gonna have more tag outs later. I'm gonna book the board now anyways, so they can't attack right now or whatever.
Ich würde aber gern Talents aktivieren.
Also ich hätte eventuell Quick-Effekte. Kurz
Which store is this? Their name is Deck, Dice, and Dungeon in Gießen. I have two stores. I guess I'm gonna give a shout out in case anyone's from the area in Germany. But I have two stores that I somewhat regularly go to. There's one in Gießen, Deck, Dice, and Dungeon, and there's one in Grünberg called Endcafé. So if anyone wants to check out those, then you might see me there every once in a while.
Und zwar hätte ich Snatchy zum Synchronisieren. Für Cookie. Hier Trigger. Dann Cookie-Effekt. Target die 2 zum Bucken.
Here.
Open Game States.
Da habe ich nichts.
Dann jetzt Talents.
Für was?
Taken.
Zum Taken.
There you go, Talons take.
Dann versucht der Cookie wegzulaufen. Ist das okay?
Das ist fein.
Dann kommen daraus Snatchy.
Do you generally play English cards or German? English.
Aber beide
Die sind nicht negiert.
sind nicht negiert.
Nein. Lass mich ganz kurz schauen. Ich glaube, ich kann 2 gleiche holen. Ja.
Dann will ich die IP.
Du möchtest die IP haben, ja. Dann habe ich...
Okay, I'm tagging out into 2 snatchies here with when they go Talons take, because I don't want them to be able to take away my only snatchy. But if I bring back 2 level 1s here, they can basically pick which one they take away and which one they let me keep. So I decide to just bring back 2 snatchies, because then I can surprise for a level 1, and that's fine. I could do this differently as well, but I think at this point it's just going to be very hard for their deck to extend here. Because they don't even have a normal summon to tribute summon like Kashira Unicorn, because they used Lava Golem. So I'm going Snatchy effect now to replace the field spell. I suppose this play is weak to Bell. But it's only weak to Bell if they can play after. And I know like 2 cards in their hand or 3 cards in their hand already, right? I know 1 card in their hand is Rysart, 1 card in their hand is Unicorn, 1 card in their hand is a Regenesis that they've added, all 3 of which are completely dead cards right now. So there is only 1 unknown card, I think. And if that 1 unknown card is Bell to stop my surprise to revive, then they can't play, right? Really.
Nur vom Deck? Oder auch von... Okay. Ja, ist okay.
But this, I just asked them if Regenesis Code, I believe it's called, summons from deck and grave, because then I could Bell it, but it doesn't summon from grave.
Darf ich?
Regenesis Warrior is a bounce, I think, for monsters?
Hätte ich on Summon gerne eine Surprise zum Rebornen.
Die können den für deine Synchromonster.
Can bounce the golem and use it again? Yeah, but like this is
Link 1 als Level 1 Tuner
this one is, I feel like, not winnable. It's not solvable for them, I don't think.
Das ist okay. Meine Surprise reborn den...
Because they're gonna bounce the golem here, but I can basically now hop off before they can give me the lava golem. So here I'm checking a Croaky, and a Croaky actually triggers here, because it just says a monster you control leaves the field by a card effect, which the lava golem has left the field by a card effect, so I can actually use a Croaky here.
A Croaky und Chaining 2 Marshmallow. Weil Croaky sagt, wenn ein offenes Monster, was ich kontrolliere, das Feld verlässt durch deinen Effekt, kann ich einen Yummy vom Deck specialen. Und Marshmallow nimmt mir eine Yummy Spell vom Grave auf die Hand zu. Klar.
Wie das Finsternis stinkt. Also, die Kommentare für Game 1. Ich sehe sie jetzt schon alle. Das werden ja nicht immer alle runterkommen.
Dann würde ich den Lollipop triggern, um den Warrior ins Deck zu mischen. Und summon.
This was a fun game. It was like Of course, they're playing a rogue deck, and I went first, so I'm like pretty favored. But at the same time, their hand was like pretty good. Lava Golem, Fenrir, Regenesis, Searcher spell, Regenesis teleport spell. It's a pretty good hand, so like it's still a challenge here.
Das ist jetzt, ich weiß, schön, dass ich weiß jetzt, die eine Karte ist auf jeden Fall raus.
Lollipop.
Kann ich als Discard fordern, aber ist das. Ich war gerade ganz kurz, als du das aktiviert hast, so.
Lollipop-Effekt.
Da kommt eine Normal Eis. Ich hätte einfach nicht mal das einfach sagen, ja, das passt, ich hab schon.
Yeah, with main deck Lava Golem, it was, I mean, main deck Dark Ruler would have been better, but like they're playing Regenesis, so it makes sense. Right? Maybe if they didn't Lava Golem the Snatchy, but they Lava Golem the Synchro instead. Honestly, maybe they could have done it.
Habe ich im Endeffekt nur noch einen Lava-Golem.
Ja. Ja.
Das ist ein, weil es mehr, der ist halt so, der andere ist auch ein, aber deswegen habe ich gedacht, komm, ich nehme den übergangsweise. Und ich war heute nicht mehr zu Hause, deswegen auch die Post ist mit Colt im Kopf, aber ich konnte es halt nicht holen, weil ich von der Arbeit weggegangen bin. Das ist jetzt das zweite Mal, dass ich gesehen habe.
Do you speak English or German at locals? German, of course.
Dann kriege ich die zu.
Ja, es könnte, ich spiele zu Vanquish aus irgendeinem Grund oder so. Nee, also, normal Joke.
At this point,
Main.
I think they're letting me play it out, but I think we can fast forward, right? This is,
Ich selber und zwei Yummy-Monster.
this is,
Das Deck.
oh no, they actually scoop. Okay, never mind.
Leben auch in der Hand, Stepperface. Fand ich doch mal am.
I don't have much of a side for Cash Tira Regenesis. I don't even know if Droll is good, but I'm taking out the Fuvas even though I'm going second here because I don't think they're good against this matchup. Honestly, I don't even know if Bell is good now that I'm looking at it. Maybe I should just side deck more engine. Maybe I should side the Sangan and keep the Lollipo. Because I don't know what you can bell. I guess you can bell like stuff like Called by the Grave or like random non-engine. Maybe, or stuff like, what's it called? If they have Kashira Birth, I could bell that. Or if they have, I think Regenesis Birth also has a reborn effect, but that might just be from Banished. I'm not sure. A Regenesis name, maybe a Regenesis name to add back. I mean, it sounds kind of mid, but maybe it's okay.
Wer beginnt? Jawohl. Auch ein gutes.
All right, they decide to go first. Hand is okay. Honestly, can't complain about that.
Ja. Ja.
And we got shifted. Awesome. But
Immer beide nicht, ja.
the good news is I ashed the Wraiths off, and they actually don't have a play here, which is likely. I mean, in my head, it's like, okay, they probably have some Regenesis monster in hand and needed like a 2500 to reveal for it or something like that. So the Ash here, pretty good. I draw Droll for turn, pretty useless.
Normal Summon Lolly. Snatchy Effekt.
Can't really do much here.
Plays Croaky.
Because we're still under shifter. But what I can do is summon 2 monsters and then have disruption on their turn, right? That should still be game. Wait, that is... I mean, I can go for game here probably if I normal summon a hand trap, make Almirage, special Lollipo, make Cupsy Yummy Way, Surge 2, discard like the bell. But that like it plays super hard into non-engine, right? Like I think it's probably better to make like to do this because they couldn't play the last turn. They couldn't play last turn, and my half board is still going to be pretty good. I feel like I don't need to play into that.
Hättest du auch das erst aktivieren können und wenn ich das mache, kannst du immer noch komplett Shifter chainen. Ja, okay.
I was nudging them. I told them, if you don't shifter instantly, you can actually call by my Ash and still chain shifter to it. I was explaining them how to floodgate. So next time they draw this hand, they're gonna go Wraith Soth first. I Ash, they chain called by chain shifter.
Kapsi und
But yeah.
Cookie, werf den Cookie weg.
It's funny because it didn't matter because I had Bell anyways. I could have belled the called by. I would have actually gotten value from the bell, but...
Effekt Kapsi. Suche Cookie. Special Cookie. Link 1.
So this is my half board here. It's still pretty good. I didn't play around Nibiru because I didn't really expect a Kashtira Regenesis deck to play Nibiru. So I thought it was okay. And now basically, I think I cover for most top decks. Like they didn't have a play last turn. They top deck Regenesis Archfiend. I forgot what they revealed for it just now. I didn't see it in the recording, but I think another Regenesis card. I think Sage.
Dürfte ich ganz kurz den Sage lesen, den du mir gezeigt hast?
Yeah, they revealed Sage, added Regenesis. I hit him with Droll. And now I go on res. Something funny is about to happen. I go Snatchy effect to Synchro. I summon Cookie to book the Regenesis Archfiend.
Gerne Cookie beschwören und Cookie-Effekt benutzen, um den zu setten.
Das ist unfortunate.
Was sagt er genau? Also er sagt, dass die Horus-Monster kontrollieren, nicht Karte zerstören, kann ich zum Beispiel, weil man
And then they're like, because there's a monster with 2500 attack or defense on the field, I'm gonna special summon my Regenesis Sage. And I'm like panicking, checking my yummy monsters if any of them have 2500 attack or defense. And I realize they don't.
Wo denn?
And he's like, because there's a monster with 2500 attack or defense. And I'm like, where is it? And he's like, oh, it's right here. It's my set Regenesis Archfiend. That's got 2500 attack or defense. And I'm like, that doesn't work because it's face down. And he's like, no, there is a monster. There is one.
Nee, also der hat keine Werte, wenn er verdeckt ist.
Okay, also geht das nicht.
Nee, das geht nicht.
Dann aktiviere ich Regenesis zum Dampfen.
Mhm. Warte. Würde ich chainen.
Ja.
Der macht jetzt nichts, außer dass er in meiner nächsten Endphase auf deine Hand zurückkommt.
Yeah, the Regenesis spell can actually also be used to Foolish. But that's not what you want to do with it, but Underdraw is all you get.
Ja. Stand by Main.
I mean, yeah. we are slaughtering the Regenesis deck now.
Machen die zwei einen Lollipo. Dann hätte ich Chaining 1 Lollipo zum Reborn, Chaining 2 Akroki zum Schießen von dem.
Ja.
And I also know that there is no Nibiru because it wasn't there last turn, and they clearly top decked a card that, like, Archfiend or something.
Snatchy Effekt. Dann würde ich in die Battleface gehen. Das sind über 8000. Was? Die kriegen alle. Also jeder meiner Yummies kriegt plus 500 Angriff.
This is over 8,000 damage. What?
Das heißt, ich habe 4 Stück. Das heißt, jeder hat plus 2000.
Ja, das war ein Display von meinem
Hoch. Ja, ich habe auch eine. Jawohl, fange ich an.
Hunde ist freigegeben.
Ist auch praktisch, wenn man selber immer freigibt.
Viel Spaß, viel Glück.
Danke, gleichfalls. Stand by Main.
Yep.
Kapsi-Effekt.
Ja.
Alright, as usual, I have Yummy Surprise in my hand, so I'm not gonna chain block my Cupsy. I want them to ash it because I already have the card. And I'm gonna search for another Yummy name that I want in rotation here, because I'm otherwise only gonna be playing basically one card combo. So since I already have Surprise, which they now technically know I have, or should know I have, but yeah.
Kapsi-Effekt.
Search 2, discard 1, discard the Fuva.
Special Lollipop.
Ja.
Marshmallow-Effekt. Der Special, der aktiviert sich halt in der Hand, wenn ich keine Monster oder nur Light Beast kontrolliere. Okay, hier?
Which phone do you own? Like an older-ish iPhone. I don't know which number it is. I don't really care that much about that.
Marcher-Effekt. Hier irgendwas?
I've been liking, if possible, to make the Herald, to try and make the Herald of the Arclight with the Metal Marcher before I make the Lollipo synchro.
Marshmallow-Effekt. Und die wieder auf die Hand.
Because that way you basically bait Nibiru before you make Lollipo, which makes your combo after Nibiru, if you get Nibiru'd, it makes it stronger. If you don't get nipped, it's all is usually the same outcome.
Reborn 2.
And here I have, once again, so many bodies that I decide to make the IP Mask Arena, I'm pretty sure. Herald Ban Waiting Room. I think that is a realistic outcome for this entire thing, yeah. I think Herald Ban is not unrealistic. I actually think Herald Ban would be a pretty based way to handle Yummy, because I honestly, I mean, maybe I'm biased because I'm playing pure Yummy, but I don't personally really have an issue with the pure Yummy end board besides Herald of the Arclight. I think pure Yummy without Herald would probably be fine. But I also, I like the playstyle of it.
Yeah.
And it would also, it would eliminate like some of the bridges between Yummy and Mitsu, right?
Da war so ein Typ, der kam einfach mit Blue Jeans, blaue Jacke und silberne Brocken und hatte da Karten drin. Und ist dann von der Sonderschule immer zu den Grundschülern und hat dann sein blauer
Normal some Starfire. Der triggert nur bei Spell Traps, ne? Also, oder auch wenn die. Aber
Alright, guys, it's Musketeer Fiendsmith. It's based alert.
auch gemein.
It's actually based. What's happening there?
Da würde ich Snatchy ansagen.
Dann darf ich eine Karte zerstören. 1000. Perfekt funktioniert. Aber ich habe vergessen, aber ich habe die Karte.
Mann, wenn du keine Trigger hast, hätte ich Cookie-Effekt auf Starfire.
Ich überlege, ob ich da einen Chat
Ja.
Das ist Text selber gegeben. Wenn er aktuell nicht. Wenn ein Vertrag liegt, kann er ihn poppen, dann will ich dann, wenn du Monster auf Feld aktivierst, das Monster einsaugen. Oder er kann das auch machen, wenn er 2 macht. Genau.
This is an interesting one. So here, Triple Tactics Thrust is activated. And I'm thinking for a second here because I know this is gonna force my Herald of the Arclight, basically. But do I negate the thrust? Or do I negate the card that they search? Normally, it's better to negate the card that they search because thrust, if I negate thrust now, they could in theory activate another one. The only card that makes a huge difference there is if they main deck Dark Ruler. So the question here is, do I play around main deck Dark Ruler or do I play around a second copy of Thrust? I decide to let the Thrust go through because I'm like, they probably don't main deck Dark Ruler, and even if they do, I can still, I have double imperm and I have surprise set. So I decide, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let the thrust go through. I'm gonna tag out in response to it as well to draw my card with Cupsy, to potentially find another hand trap and just take the risk because what they need an immensely strong hand here to be able to thrust for Dark Ruler and then still play through double imperm surprise, even if they play Dark Ruler. But it turns out they don't main deck Dark Ruler, so they're gonna search for something else.
Kein Main Dark Ruler. Cupsy-Effekt.
I get my Cupsy draw. Just a cookie, no, just follow up, but no interruption.
Ah, jetzt lebt er.
Alright, tracked. This is where tagging out into Lollipo is really nice, because it basically makes it so that if they go Lurry, discard Lurry, it's going to be Chainlink 1 Lurry, and then Chainlink 2 I banish the Lurry with Lollipo, which is nice. Add Habakiri. Oh yeah, my bad. I forgot to add Habakiri with my Herald of the Arclight crew. My bad.
Zwei, Target Lurry, 3.
Was macht sie aus Summon? Und Summon nicht. Auf dem Feld kann die gar nicht.
Okay, aber wenn sie jetzt Effekt und Summon, das ist der Effekt von dir, diese Special
Und ich kann sie aus dem Grave special, indem ich eine Karte aufzähle. Genau, wenn ich sie aus dem Grave stelle, bin ich dran.
2.
Chain Droplet for 2. To stop my Lollipo, probably. I cannot respond with a monster right now. Negate Snatchy and Lollipo. Bring back the Lurry. Also reveal that we're playing Unchained cards in the deck. One last card in hand. IP is not negated. So I'm gonna make SP here to banish the Lurry, and then I think the last card in hand is unlikely to be able to play through double imperm and surprise. So we pack it up. Didn't even need any of the back row here. The board was strong enough, even though they had thrust. Yeah, it was Alt Art Lurry. Yeah, Alt Art Lurry based, by the way. I think Alt Art Lurry looks nice. I like it. I like it.
Fiendsmith, ja. Musket. Oh oh.
So I think I should side roll against this, right? Should I? Those two are probably Thrust and Dark Hole. I should side Thrust and Dark Hole, yeah. Do I side roll? Thinking about retaliating real quick, but then I realized it doesn't make sense. I'm also thinking about Metaltronus for a second, but I don't think I have a good target. Okay, I don't side roll. Should I have sided roll? Against Fiend Link? Against Fiendsmith Musket, is roll that good? It's not that good, I guess. It's only good if they open Engraver. No, maybe it's fine to not side it. Because I'm mostly going to be relying on Fuva to win this matchup going second, to be honest, I think.
Oh, mein Gutes.
Oh. I'm just now rewatching this. I'm drawing double bell like every round. It's been a double bell kind of day, dude. So this hand is not very promising. There is one hand trap basically, which is a duplicate bell. The engine cards aren't terrible, you know, Cupsy and Talons as well. But yeah.
Oh. Ja.
Oh. So, the first game was relatively quick, so I'm gonna let them play it out here just to see what their deck is capable of. Like, I want to see what kind of combos they're doing, because we can already extract a little bit of information from this, because in the first game we haven't seen that they're playing a bigger Unchained package. Actually, we just saw one Unchained trap. Here we see they play the Rhoda for Unchained and everything. And we can already see more musket card. There's different musketeers in here as well. So yeah, I'm probably gonna lose. I at this point I know that I'm probably gonna lose this game, but I still want to see some of the combos because we've got enough time. Like, the first game was like not too long. Do you think Dragon Ruler can compete in Genesis? I think it is solid, yes, but I would classify it more as a tier 2 deck in Genesis at the moment, but I like it. The problem is Droll and Lockbird is really good against it, and a lot of decks are still playing Lockbird even in Genesis format right now, because they also made it cheaper. 5 points for Droll, I think, is crazy. And that's a problem for it.
Ah, ja, der Gierige, ja. Ich würde es genauso machen. Ja.
I said that's greedy when they went for Necroquip and then discard Engraver instead of making Caesar. And then I said I would do the same thing. I love drawing cards, man. What's the Sangan in the side deck for? Sangan is a card that I like in Yummy because you can side it for going first. And it is a starter for Yummy. It's a 1-card combo because you can go Almirage and then search a Yummy name and special the Yummy name. Because that effect doesn't activate unless you search Marchma, which you shouldn't do. But if you search Lollipo or Cookie, you can special those and then play. So it increases your consistency. But if you already have engine, you just normal summon Sangan, make Almirage, and search a hand trap, and then play anyways with the other Yummy card. So it's like it's a consistency card that can also be non-engine. I like that flexibility. I think that's awesome.
Jo.
So there just hasn't been a choke point for Ghost Bell yet here, by the way. I'm waiting for something that's worth Ghost Belling. But I also saw that they play Talents and Thrusts, so...
Den mal reingemischt.
Like, I don't know.
Den Calamity? Ah, ja.
Could have belled Yama? Yeah, but like...
Bis noch da waren. Ich weiß nicht.
Realistically... Not worth it, I don't think.
Ja.
Is this live or recorded? I'm not commentating from my desk and playing at the same time. No, this is me playing my locals. And we're commentating over it after the fact. Because I mean, the thing is, like, I could just go to my locals and stream them. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the content is better when someone commentates over it and I can explain what I'm thinking in certain instances, right? I personally just feel like it's more educational this way. The lower effort way would just go to locals and stream it. But I think this is better content, and I'm also learning from this as well. Like, I personally think this is just, I think it's a win-win situation, because I think looking at how you played and reevaluating your plays and everything, like, is an important thing to do anyways. So I like doing it, and I also think the commentary adds value for the content. So I like doing it this way. Alright, I'm belling the sequence, which that felt like a pretty good choke point to me. You know, I have talents in hand, so preventing Desiree seems good to me. What if you pretend this is live and go, no, Josh, don't do it? I've done that before. I've baited myself into thinking I was gonna make a certain play on camera because I thought that's what I did, and then I didn't do that. So it was with Draco Tail. It was like I looked at the hand and I was like, I should not start with K2 Draco Tail, and then it looked like I wasn't gonna do that, but then I did it anyways. And I was like, God damn it. Is playing talents in this format good, or just put a nip in place of it? That's impossible to answer without knowing what you're playing and so on. But in general, I think talents is a pretty good card this format. But depending on your deck, you might prefer the hand trap. Alright, discard Lurie for a bow. It's kind of nasty. Opponent is throwing, didn't set back with Sarama. They said after that the bell on the sequence threw them off a little bit because they didn't expect to get hand trapped at that point because they've already gotten this far. Here I get thrusted anyways for Black Gold last, which is like, honestly, it was breakable until this moment. Caesar is not that good against Yummy, and I have talents and everything, but... And I draw Ash a second too late. I could have Ashed the Thrust or something, or I would have probably Ashed earlier, but... the Black Goat is gonna make this essentially unplayable for me, which is unfortunate. I'm still gonna try, I think, but... Because we have time. But the Black Goat is going to be a problem.
Ja.
Also wenn du Lust hast, kannst du das gerne erklären, weil
Ja.
Standard ist ja schon so, das geht auf den Attribut.
This is where Typhon could have maybe bought me a turn to get through this, but the problem is even if I get a turn here, Black Goat like works for 2 turns, right? I make Almirage to try and extend. If they pop with a bow here, my Talents is live. If I have, honestly, if I have Typhon in my extra deck and I go Talents take and then make Typhon, there's honestly a chance for me here, but I don't play Typhon.
Genau, der ist auch nur Quick Effect auch noch praktisch. Den kannst du auch normal bauen, kannst hier halt, aber dann ist er ein Effekt. Und der ist ein Switcher Banish und
Lass überlegen.
Also der Plan ist halt, du machst dann vom Gegner, du grindest halt.
Typhon would be so nice here. Would Typhon win me the game? I mean, not necessarily on the spot, but Talents. How big is a bow? How big is a bow? 28? So I take the Caesar. I make Typhon on the Caesar, which is good because then the engraver is under the Caesar, right? Like I don't have to, is under the Typhon. Then I detach like the Caesar or the Necroquip to bounce the Abao back, and then I attack over the Starfire, which means there's only a Lurie on the board, and I have Ash for Requiem, right? I could win if I had Typhon here, yeah.
Und die müssen alle eine Planerkarte discarden.
Ich gerne übernehmen.
Die suchen ja alle selber aus. Genau, also du wirst eine Planerkarte ab, wenn ich was vom Gegner...
Talent take Caesar, surprise special Cupsy, Linkaribo, and you play. I don't have Linkaribo. Also, I don't see how that plays. Well, I mean, it plays a little bit, but like it doesn't really lead to many disruptions. But I don't have Linkaribo in here either. The extra deck for Yummy is so tight. I mean, yeah, if I had Linkaribo, I had to play that way as well, but I don't. So I have no way to play here. And with this much follow-up, I think I can't really win.
Zielt die oder nicht? Zielt die? Special irgendein Unchained? Ich bait es mal.
So yeah, if I had Typhon, this monster would have also been gone. And then I have Ash for Requiem, and they are down to a top deck, I guess. And I have Surprise for follow-up. Yeah, so Typhon could have won this game. But now I have one disruption, which is Ash Blossom, and they have too much follow-up for me, right? They have Engraver in the grave, Requiem that they can still make, an Unchained, a Musket on the board. So like I get cooked here. I think I should fast forward this a little bit because make Desiree with Sequence, make Agnum Day, send my set, and so on. I play it out because we have a bunch of time, but like I lose this. Alright, here I do something. Droll and Lockbird I don't think is phenomenal in this matchup, but I think it becomes a lot better when I go first because I can stop things like Triple Tactics Thrust from being activated after I droll them. So because I cite the Sangan anyways, I decide to put in one droll to search off of Sangan in case I draw it. But other than that, I don't really have much in my side deck against this matchup. So I just have to take out like the Fuvas for going first and keep in maximum engine. I don't have any like crazy anti-Fiendsmith Unchained cards. And I realize at this point that they're probably playing board breakers as well. So like my thrusts, unless I get Fuva'd, which they probably play Fuva, But unless I get Fuvat, my thrusts are also not going to be live. So I even put in the second roll over one of the thrusts. And honestly, the hand is fine. You know, I have one of the field spells which you don't want to see, but I have 2 engine and 2 non-engine next to it, so it's a fine hand, honestly. Right? Ash Imperm plus access to Cupsy plus an extender, which is just another Cupsy. But it's okay. In this game, I'm gonna chain block the Cupsy search because I don't want to get ashed on it. I want, especially against a deck that plays some board breakers. Like I've you know, I've seen Droplet before and stuff like that. I want to make sure that I have Yummy Surprise.
Special Cupsy? Effect Minion Target Cupsy. Chain Snitchy.
So here we go. Chain block the Cupsy search because I go Chain Link 1 Minion to revive, Chain Link 2 Snatchy to Synchro, and then both of them are summoned at the same time. So I go Chain Link 1 Cupsy main deck monster, Chain Link 2 Cupsy extra deck. And that means my Cupsy here is protected from Ash Blossom. It could be impermed here, which you can also play around if you have another name in hand. You can make another Snatchy before you make this play. And then if they go imperm, you can chain Snatchy to Synchro. I discard the field spell. How does it feel to wear a GoPro while playing Yu-Gi-Oh? It feels a little weird when you set up in the beginning of the round, but then once you start playing, you kind of forget about it. It feels so busted to go surprise special a Marshmallow and then add the surprise back to your hand instantly. It's like walking into a supermarket and then walking out without buying anything. It feels illegal. Yeah, this is Herald before Lollipo. Are you theoretically allowed to record YCS gameplay? I asked, but I think for regionals and YCS level events, it's not allowed. All right, so we have the scary thing about going uninterrupted is you probably know your opponent is about to play some board breakers, especially when they play Unchained Fiendsmith. So at this point, I'm still not feeling. We're not in the clear yet, you know. And first things first, here is the Dark Ruler. It wasn't in their main deck, but it was in the side deck, and it is massive here. So at this point, my board has been reduced to Surprise, Imperm, and Ash, which is still not terrible, but definitely a lot worse than it was just a second ago. All right, I'll give you a little bit of hindsight here. They told me after the match that if I ashed this tract, they had 0 plays. But I decided not to ash it because at this point they have a 5-card hand. Their deck is full of combos. I didn't want to ash tract and then get full comboed anyways, especially when I have so few interruptions. Like I only have Surprise, Imperm, and Ash Blossom. I didn't want to use one of them so early. I was trying to hold the Ash Blossom maybe for I was trying to hold it maybe for like the Requiem or something like that. But they actually don't go for Requiem. They go for a Musketeer card, which is a problem, a little bit of a problem, because it's a lot easier to apply pressure with normal summon musket. So that's gonna go ahead and make Max, and Max essentially, yeah, maybe I should have ashed the Tract because they play Musket Fiendsmith, right? Against any other Fiendsmith deck, it's probably fine to not ash the Tract. But then again, maybe I ash the Tract and they have a Fiendsmith, a Musketeer in hand already, and it doesn't matter. So I don't know. But this Max is gonna apply a lot of pressure to me. Here is another crucial moment where I have to decide. I'm gonna have to stop this Max. All right, so I'm deciding between ashing this Max or imperming this Max, right? If I imperm this Max, they can potentially dodge it with a card like Forbidden Droplet, which, even though my stuff is already negated by Dark Ruler, you can still activate Droplet because it has the other effect to halve the attack points, I'm pretty sure. So if I imperm this, there is outs for them to dodge it. At the same time, I know they're playing Thrust, so if I ash first, so far I haven't used the monster effect. So if I ash this, that could make the Thrust live very early, and they could Thrust for something like a Feather Duster or something before making Requiem. So that could be a problem as well. So that's why I think I decide to go for Imperm first here. I'm imperming the Max because I don't want the Thrust to be live instantly. Also, yeah, if I ash this, then they Requiem after, and then I cannot imperm the Requiem. But I could theoretically like imperm Sequence or whatever. And they have Droplet, which I'm just quickly confirming, but I'm pretty sure you can use Droplet even if the stuff is already negated because of the having the attack portion still making, like, it still does something. I think the wording on it makes it so you can still activate it. We both weren't 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So yeah, I imperm the Max, and they have Droplet to dodge it. So it was Dark Ruler and Droplet, which is painful. They get I tell them, you know, I have 3 spells, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I know, I only play 2 different muskets. I'm like, okay, well, that's good for me. Only two muskets have been special summoned. And here I act a little bit too quickly because I'm like, you know, we've used Tract, we've normal summoned, so what if I just surprise bounce both of these monsters and I have an Ash Blossom in my hand? I'm probably fine, right? And this is another problem, by the way. This is another problem of the IP Masquerena board, by the way, because right here, I'm using Surprise to bounce 2 of my extra deck monsters. I don't have main deck monsters on the board that I can bounce for Surprise, which would be pretty good for follow-up. You know, if I hadn't turned those 2 monsters into IP Masquerena earlier, I could have just bounced both of those now, which would have been awesome follow-up. And I'm not gonna die because of Dark Ruler, right? Like if I bounce back a Cupsy and a Marshmallow here with the Surprise, my follow-up is nice. You know, I have no problem next turn, probably. Because I went for the IP Masquerena, I don't have any main deck monsters on the board. My IP Masquerena got negated by a board breaker anyways, and now I'm not bouncing main deck monsters. So I don't know, maybe in this matchup, because it wasn't Mitsurugi, I wasn't supposed to make the IP Masquerena. It's very likely that that's the case, because I know they're playing Droplet and stuff to negate my stuff anyways, so maybe I shouldn't have made the IP Masquerena. Because realistically, if they don't have a board breaker, then my board is good enough even without the IP Masquerena, realistically. So I should have probably just not made the IP here. But that's going to come back to bite me because I'm now not creating any follow-up here. And this is what I like. This is one of those mistakes that I've talked about in my deck profile as well. I said, like, sometimes I make mistakes and I realize like 1 second or like a split second after I activate the card, I forget, like I realized that it wasn't optimal because I forgot that Fusion Lacrima came back So the tract in the graveyard is actually like a play here with 2 Light Fiends. I forgot. I was so used to playing against Fiendsmith in the TCG without Lacrima that I didn't realize, like, oh, this tract, after I bounced those 2 monsters, is actually an insane play now. Because from my perspective, it was like, well, they've already normal summoned, they've already used tract in hand, I have Ash in hand, so like, how do they realistically extend after the surprise? And then I realized, damn, yeah, this card is now in the TCG. So this will be a play for them. So I Ash the Requiem.
Chain 2. Wenn er verbannt wird, kann ich ein DD-Monster wählen. Wenn das Monster im Kampf zerstört, füge ich den Schaden in Höhe der Applikation.
And I'm just praying that they can't play. And even if they can't play, I still have to like kind of top deck a play next turn because I didn't have create follow-up. And they have an Unchained monster. Attack both in battle phase. I'm down to 0 cards and they have a sequence in main phase 2. Yeah, I forgot to search Habakiri again, damn it. And now they're just styling on me with Aerial Eater instead of making Desiree for my top deck. Now I'm just being styled on. But this game I think is, once again, it's a loss, but it's an interesting one because there is things to take away from this. Because in this matchup, I don't think I'm supposed to make the IP Masquerena. And because this is a completely different picture if my surprise is able to bounce 2 main deck monsters into the hand, right? Like if I have 2 yummy names in my hand right now, I'm feeling very good about my chances to actually, because they're going to be able to make a board here, but like I'm probably going to be able to play into it, right? Oh yeah, they didn't have Desiree actually, you're right. They couldn't make Desiree. But realistically, I mean, the mistake with the surprise bounce is also coming back to bite me because I forgot about tract fusing into Lacrima. I just forgot that was a thing in TCG again. I think going to locals is valuable for this kind of practice. I'm noticing now with my return to TCG that I need more of this kind of practice. Even if it's quote unquote just locals, you know, like there's still things that you can do better and improve. Wow, you speak German? Yeah, it's crazy, right? German speaks German? No way. So, unironically, once again, the end board here is Soul of Rage and Caesar, which 2 yummy names probably beat this. Especially if one of them is Cupsy.
Das ist kein Cupsy. Normal.
Yeah, we top deck Ash. That's not going to be enough.
Das ist Quick Effect.
Yeah, I'm just checking if they use Rage on the Almirage, but yeah. Alright, and that is round 3. And I lost 2 rounds so far. Both rounds, I feel like, due to mistakes. So 1-2 at locals, dude. I need to get better with Yummy. It's crazy. It's the same thing I said after YCS Lille. I would say, I would classify these as small mistakes, but it's still something that I used to not make, I would say, in previous formats. Of course, you could also say it's a little bit unlucky that I'm getting punished for them all the time, because every time I make a mistake, my opponent seems to have the answer to capitalize on it. Like when I misplayed against Mitsurugi and didn't see the OTK, they immediately top deck Super Poly to destroy me. But still, those are situations that I shouldn't even be putting myself in, so I can't really complain about that. This is actually round 5 of locals, because my round 4 opponent didn't want to play. They went home. So at this point, this is round 5 with a score of 2-2.
Stand by me.
Alright, we're going first with 2 Fuvas. Awesome. But since we didn't open Piri Rise map, we can go normal summon Fuva and make Almirage. So 1 Fuva is actually not a problem. You just... even 2 Fuvas, if you play 2 Fuvas, it's not a problem, because you can normal summon one, and then you discard the other one for Kapsi Yummy Way. So it's not that bad.
Special Cookie. Kapsi-Effekt.
Muss der 2 beschwören oder ist bis zu 2?
Der sucht 2.
Ich meine, der Effekt
Zum Austaggen ist bis zu 2.
Bis zu 2. Ja, das ist okay.
Why not Prosp? I like Prosping later here because I like seeing, like, at the beginning of the turn, I don't know yet what I want from this Prosperity, because I can already play the game, but like I don't know what they're gonna interact with. Are they gonna try to stop me with the Kapsi Yummy Way, or are they gonna try to stop my Kapsi or whatever? Are they gonna Fuva me, so I might need more non-engine or whatever, like, or do I need more engine because I get hand trapped and stuff like that? So I'm waiting with the Prosperity.
Gut, dass ich anfange.
Das ist mal wichtig.
Dann würde ich
Mainly.
In einen Snatchy gehen und den Effekt aktivieren.
Yeah, if you can combo already, you're also deck thinning, and so you have a higher chance of finding non-engine after your combo.
Special Kapsi-Effekt.
So here, I'm using Kapsi's effect. I'm not chain blocking it this time around for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I felt like with the opener that I went through, I think they would have ashed Kapsi Yummy Way potentially, but also because I have thrust, so I want to incentivize them to ash my Kapsi so I can thrust for a trap card to turn the thrust into a live card. And it still plays around Impermanent Veiler this way because I have the Snatchy up on the board. So I was okay with doing it this way around. And turns out they didn't have Ash.
Marshmallow?
Der specialt sich einfach?
Genau. Wenn ich keine Monster oder nur Light Beast kontrolliere.
Okay, ja.
Und on Summon könnte er eine Yummy Spell from Grave of the Hand nehmen.
I'm putting the Marshmallow in the graveyard here because I cannot summon it after I make Metal Marcher.
Irgendwas hier?
Nö, nicht hier.
Surprise zum Reborn. Effekt Marshmallow.
Ah, okay, ich verstehe. Ja.
Ist kostenlos jetzt die.
Toll. Ich liebe Yummy.
Das ist doch schön.
And so here, I think I prosp for 3. I think prosping for 6 is very hard in this deck. I'm taking away the Link Spider because I didn't get nibbed. So that can go, but I think it's really hard to decide like what to prosp away in this deck sometimes. I'm just trying to find any non-engine here. I don't need any engine. So here, it's between the Imperm or the Yummy Surprise, and I do take the second copy of Yummy Surprise. I like that more than the Imperm because I think you usually always want to open up the opportunity to go for a the revive with Surprise, but the bounce 2 is also very powerful, so I decided to go for that over Imperm, and they pack it up. Now they did say before the match they were on a little bit more of a fun deck, and so they were like, yeah, I'm not playing into this Yummy board, which wasn't even that crazy of a board, but they scoop it up. So I'm siding blind, so I think I'm just putting in the thing that I've been siding all day basically. I'm putting in 2-Droll, Dark Hole, and Thrust blind, I think. Yeah. The hand's not bad. You know, we've got Piri Rise Map, Lollipo, Talents, and Called By, and once again Bell as the only hand trap, which feels like the 6th or 7th time, whatever, and it's probably like 3rd or 4th time, where it's like only Bell in my hand as a hand trap. Okay. I'm hoping Bell is good in the matchup because I don't know what it is yet. Do you not side out Called By? Not in this format going second, not blind. Against some matchups, yes, but like against most decks, Called By going second is actually still quite good. Mitsurugi, Herald of the Arclight, all kinds of like, there's so many things you can hit with Called By going second in this matchup, in this format. Does every table have the same playmats? No, this is just my playmat, and we're watching my games every round. And this is like a team in my area, Spot Squad Gaming. So a lot of them have the same playmats. Is all.
Yep.
But yeah, I did play against like 3 or 4 of them this locals. Alright, they go for some Fiendsmith stuff, and at this point, they haven't really revealed... They haven't revealed what kind of deck they're on yet. But we're gonna find out shortly. At my locals, we ran a TCG exclusive night. Could you see yourself doing this? What do you mean by TCG exclusive night? Like you can only play TCG exclusive archetypes or cards? Or what do you mean? Didn't Bell Fiendsmith? No, why would I? I'm not using Bell on Fiendsmith when I don't care about Caesar with my deck. Like I can let them make Caesar. I'm trying to hold for sequence or for something more impactful. Mutiny in the Sky, which is a miracle fusion for, I think, Fiend or Fairy. which I said like, well, that's just like resolving sequence if I didn't bell that. Is it tier? You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out in a second. We make Aerial Eater.
Ja. Kommt jetzt Quatsch? Jetzt kommt Quatsch.
Jetzt kommt Quatsch, hat er gesagt.
Oh Gott, ja.
Plunder Patrol, I think that's golden hair.
Die, ja, okay. Okay.
Which I gotta read up on some of my plunder cards. It's been a while, man. I know the concept. I knew the concept of the deck, but it's been a while.
So optimal.
Agnum Day.
Ja.
Agnum Day.
Dann Agnum Day für Lacrima.
Tag out into Lacrima.
Brauche ich den Buddy? Ich brauche den Buddy. Ach, ist das Arsch. Takt.
Ja.
Link 3 for one body. Yeah, they need the... I think they need the level of Lacrima, if I remember correctly. They want to make like the Plunder Synchro in a second. Golden Hair, discard Veiler. I think it summons itself. I don't know why we put the Lurry there, just for fun.
Nö. Ist okay.
So we make level 8.
Oh Gott, ja. Ja. Ja.
Plunder Patrol Ship. I think that one's Yord.
Ich krieg irgendwie einen Token oder so.
Die kriege ich auf die Hand, er geht in die Scale und der Scale ist dann der...
Which adds one from your grave to your hand and then goes into the scale, and then in the scale it gives both players a token, which funnily enough is a light fiend token. So if you, they said it's very frustrating when you play against Fiendsmith, because you give them a light fiend. And I also, I think I can make Link Spider with it in my Yummy deck, so it's a very unfortunate situation to be in this format. Because you're giving your opponent a Light Fiend token, which is very bad against every Fiendsmith deck and every Yummy deck.
Okay. Liz macht...
Monster...
So...
Dafür wähle ich eine Plunderkarte ab.
Ja.
Und wenn er zerstört und wenn er equipped ist, suche ich danach eine Plunderkarte. Und wenn der Mainphase Quick Effect kann ich ein Plundermonster von Special Zone oder von Hand specialen.
Okay.
Genau, das ziehe ich ein.
Okay.
Dann...
Der ist equipped an den?
Genau, der ist equipped.
Ja.
Die Magnite Columns.
Oh, ja, ist wichtig.
Dann setze ich 2 und Press an sich.
Okay, dann...
Alright, so I do get to keep the token. Uva for turn, awesome.
Dann... so, nochmal erst Monster negate und kann den Special theoretisch. Und
so
kann dann in eins vom Extra taggen. Mit dem gleichen Attribut wie was ich auf dem Feld habe oder auch im Friedhof?
Feld oder Friedhof.
Feld oder Friedhof, okay. Stand by main.
So this is, I think, I just said it in German, but I'm pretty sure this is a monster negate, and then it summons out the, I think this is Blackbeard from the spell Trap Zone, and Blackbeard is like a quick effect to tag out into another one from the extra deck.
Fange ich an mit Piri Reis Map.
Something along those lines. Which seems breakable depending on what the back row is. I don't think I have info on what the non-engine is at this point, but it seems breakable. So I go Piri Rise map, which once again is going to make me unable to normal summon the Fuva here. I'm going to have to normal summon the Cupsy if I want to use its effect.
Dann würde ich Normal Summon Cupsy machen und den Effekt aktivieren.
So I go normal summon Cupsy, activate effect, and we'll see if they use this to negate. So this is discard a plunder card. I think it negates and destroys. I'm not entirely sure though.
Hab leider keinen. Das ist okay.
So negate, destroy, and search for a plunder card. So he said I could ash it, but I didn't have ash.
Irgendwas on res.
And then the other effect to bring out the Blackbeard is not part of that effect. It's another effect. So I on res, I can go talents to take here. It's, the way this works out is very funny. So I go talents to take, which basically forces them to bring out the Blackbeard now. And then I can take the Blackbeard, because Blackbeard would be tagging out into more disruption.
Yep.
So they bring out Blackbeard. since the fusion monster has already used its effect, I'm gonna take the Blackbeard now because I don't want to deal with that. And the only reason why I can play now is because I can make Link Spider with the because I can make Link Spider with the token. I can now special my Lollipo, which is awesome. Thank you for the plunder token.
Und den Effekt von Lollipo ansagen, Target.
So the problem here is I have a graveyard interruption with the Lollipo, but there's like any of the Fiendsmith cards, it's not really worth going after right now because the Lacrima can just chain. Like if I target Agnum Day, they go chain Lacrima, target Agnum Day. If I target Sequence, they can go Lacrima chain on Sequence or something like that. So I think this has a graveyard effect, so I take away this.
Die würde ich jetzt ins Deck mischen.
Ja, das ist voll okay.
Okay. Irgendwas hier on Risk.
Nee, mach ich weiter.
Okay.
And at this point, because the Link Spider is an extender for me, I get to go into Cupsy Yummy Way, activate the effect. And I don't know if it goes through or not, I forgot. But even if they have Ash for this, it's like I can tag out and everything.
Zwei Brees im Friedhof, ne?
Ja. 2 Brees habe ich.
Gott, ja, das ist okay.
So the Surge goes through, and at this point, it's like it's gonna be very hard for them to stop Yummy from popping off here. I can search 2 names. I have a free discard in hand in the form of the Fuva. The only thing here is I'm not going for Marshmallow because I took control of the Blackbeard. I cannot special Marshmallow, so I'm not gonna search Marshmallow here. But I haven't specialed Cupsy yet because it was my normal summon. So I can still special Cupsy and I can still special Cookie because so far I've only special summoned Lollipo.
Special summon Cupsy.
So we go special Cupsy. We go for the Link 1. All of this now is very hard to interact with because if they try to do something about my field spell or my Snatchy, I can chain my Cupsy to tag out into more monsters. So that's gonna be annoying for them to try and stop the Snatchy. So I'm just gonna go. In this case, I think I go for the field spell that boosts my attack points because I'm just trying to go for game. So they try to imperm the Snatchy actually.
Da würde ich Cupsy chainen.
Jo, das ist okay.
Oh, I actually don't know if I can go for game then this turn.
Ein Lolli und ein
Because I don't have...
Snitchy ist negiert.
I don't have...
Hand kann eine oder 2?
Marshmallow and I don't have minion access. So I don't think I... Actually, I don't think I win this turn. Yeah.
Du kannst einen nicht anfeuern. Deswegen war ich auch so nicht, dass ich nicht drücke, nicht freue mich sowieso nicht. Ja.
Ich würde einen Cookie special.
Ja.
Lollipo-Effekt.
Ja, klar.
So I think I'm just gonna make a board. I think I want to... This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to make Herald here before I commit to other things. Does your locals not play any music? I don't think so. But I haven't really paid attention to it. Maybe they have music. I don't know.
Ich biete als Debut an. Also das ist Grand Breakout.
Muss also auf dem Feld sein.
Ja, ich biete einen als Debut an und schwäche den Goblin aus dem Deck.
Das kann 8 haben. Aber wir gehen mal davon aus.
Ich kann Goblin beigeben.
Ja, ja. Das ist cool gegen.
So here it's probably just gonna be SP Little Knight using the Blackbeards, just so the Blackbeard goes into the graveyard. I haven't purged this game, so I can use the SP here, which is nice.
SP. Targetless.
Trying to banish the fusion with SP. I have an Omni. I have interruptions on their turn. It's pretty nice here.
Also du weißt, dass ich keine Interruption habe. Jetzt zeigst du mir mal deine Kombo.
Can't attack directly, so no damage.
Dann direkt angreifen darf ich nicht. Wäre ich fertig.
Pass turn.
Ja.
Oh no, forgot to set the called by the grave. Unless...
Das ist bodenlos. Ja, das ist okay.
Here, okay, here, the Lacrima still goes into the deck. We forget about that for a second, but we fix it in a second because I realize after they draw that, like, the Lacrima should still go into the deck. So, it should have been the Lacrima, I think, because it's Lacrima effect, target Requiem. The Lacrima should be shuffled into the deck, so they just put the card back they drew and then reshuffle. Was whatever. Round 5 at locals, I'm just gonna believe that they put back the card they drew. It's not that serious.
Ist besser als vorher oder schlechter?
Ich weiß es noch nicht. Nicht, dass ich da durchspiele. Das ist das Problem. Stepperman.
Ja.
Where did you get this playmat? This is from the OCG. It was from, like, I think Japanese nationals or something. I saw a player on Twitter like post a picture with it, and I thought it looked awesome. So I messaged some people that I know over there, and someone like found me one. All right, we get impermed on Herald of the Arclight, which I feel like is step 1 to a successful board break here. I mean, one other board breaker here would actually, like, if they top deck like Super Poly now, it would be playable. How much? I don't remember. It wasn't on the cheap side, but it also wasn't super expensive, but I really don't remember the number.
Kapsi-Effekt. Sucht 2 und wirft einen ab.
I was looking for a playmat that, like, has zones but doesn't have anything else on it, because I really like that. Like the one I'm using for my desk as well. The blue one from YCS London. I like it for, especially for content creation. I like it because it's not, I feel like it's less confusing when there's less going on the playmat, but I still really wanted zones. Why does your voice sound so different in German compared to English? I've heard that a couple of times now. I've heard people say that. I don't. Maybe it's just German has a different tone to it than English. I have no idea. But people often tell me you sound completely different on stream compared to when you talk German. I don't know. I think it's because the German language just has a different tone than the English language. Josh has a twin, one speaks English, the other speaks German. Or it's that, yeah, maybe it's that.
Snatchy.
Alright, so what is this? Golden hair effect in the graveyard. Discard, I forgot the name of the other one. Discard one. I believe the one that we discarded is gonna summon one from the... deck or something like that. I don't know if it's that good actually. But I tag out in response into Snatchy and Lollipo.
1-2.
This is going to summon back. They activate the one that they discarded to summon from deck, which gives me another tag out. I'm going to tag out into Snatchy plus Cupsy. After this resolves, I'm going to be able to place a Croaky from deck and draw a card with Cupsy. And then I can go into a quick synchro. I don't know what I go for. Either the double book or the just synchro and pop. I forget. I think I'd probably double book this.
Okay, hast du Trigger?
Ich habe keine Trigger.
Okay, dann hätte ich Chainlink 1 Cupsy, um entweder zu suchen oder zu ziehen.
And we're doing Chainlink 1 Cupsy, Chainlink 2 Snatchy, of course, because I don't want to draw the field spell. You don't want to. You want to get the field spell out of the deck before you draw here.
Ich würde ziehen mit Cupsy. Du hast
Draw a Dark Hole.
die ich nicht kenne.
Du kennst keinen davon, ja.
Dann hätte ich hier Snatchy-Effekt.
Das ist okay.
Snatchy into Cookie. Cookie double book is probably gonna end the turn.
Oder wenn du den
Für Cookie-Effekt target die 2, um sie zu gucken.
Nee, wenn du SP baust, dann baue ich aus SP und Tripper den Knechten, den ich einfach vergessen habe.
Even if they can still play. I mean, I have SP to tag out. I have the Synchro to tag out to make another Synchro and then pop with a Croaky. This one's gonna be tough for Plunder, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and they pass. They pass, and we're gonna go through the motions here, but there's not too much left to commentate about this turn because I'm basically... I have a Herald of the Arclight on the board, so I don't even have to respect like a Nibiru or something. I can just go. All I need to do is get to the other field spell because then my stuff is incredibly big, and then, you know, summon a bunch of things. I bounce the set monsters with surprise and then go for game. All right. And that was locals with my yummy deck from YCS Lille. I'm be honest with you, I think what I like about this deck is I feel like it produces a lot of good games that are worth talking about. Which, I mean, it just so happens that I also didn't really play any floodgates in the deck. Besides, some people would consider Droll and Lockbird a floodgate. But yeah. There's been a lot of interesting things in this recap, in this locals, because I'm realizing in hindsight now that the 2 matches that I lost, I could have played better, which I think is always interesting. So yeah. Herald is a flood? Yeah, okay. Herald is a flood, sure. But I'm not gonna take Herald out of my Yummy deck, alright? And realistically, Yummy uses it like mostly for the negate effect, but yes, technically Herald is a flood, yeah.